Well, this was a great experience for me. I wish I greeted you with these lovely animals. There is not such richness of wildlife in Europe and where I live, but I can still enjoy from the nature. Believe me, if you look for a simple way of help to reduce your stress, anxiety and even depression and maybe improve your memory, you can take a walk in nature. This is what is suggested by the Medical School of Harvard. Have you ever thought why most of us feel happy and at peace when we are outside? Well, researchers found that more than 2/3 of people choose a natural setting to retreat when they are under stress. Because nature heals. If you are angry, if you are under stress, just go for a walk in nature. Are you in pain? Again, go to nature. Nature soothes. Time spent in nature connects us to each other and the larger world. How long does it take to get a dose of nature high enough to make you say you feel healthy and have a strong sense of well-being? Well, according to Mr. Matthew White from the European Centre for Environment and Human Health at the University of Exeter, you need to spend just 2 hours in nature. Mr. White found that people who spend 2 hours a week in nature were substantially more likely to report good health and psychological well-being than those who don't. Nature is not only nice to have, but it's a have to have. Being on foot makes you much more aware of your surrounding. You have to be alert to sounds and smells, and you get a totally different sense of nature and animals. I think the wild experience, which would be totally different than this hiking with you on this trail, is if I was able to see a wildlife similar to the one that I showed you in the beginning of my presentation. That's what rewilding is bringing back to nature. Rewilding is the set of restorative activities with the aim of achieving fully recovering native ecosystems, which means that the nature is again self-regulated and species can travel and move around. Well, many places in Europe offer you the similar experience of this wildlife. I'm going to talk to you 2 cases, one from North Macedonia and one from Ukraine. I was 11 years old when the accident at Chernobyl nuclear power plant happened in April 1986. I was small, but I remember the news. It was a terrible disaster. One of the nuclear reactors caught fire and exploded. The radioactivity from the reactor has widely spread around the whole world. But the areas located 50 kilometers around the plant were the most affected. Many people died, many people suffered, and many people had to leave their homes. Approximately 6,000 square kilometers of lands have been depopulated. A 30-kilometer exclusion zone was created around the reactors, leaving 2 large towns and more than 100 villages and farms empty. Those villages, towns, the surrounding vegetation covers are now natural systems that are running wild, giving housing for animals such as lynx, bison, deer, and other animals roaming through thick forests. Chernobyl exclusion zone is an example of nature power to rebound from degradation. UNEP is working with Ukrainian Ministry of Ecology and Natural Resources and the state agency in a 6-year project launched in 2015 and funded by the Global Environment Facility. The project has helped establish a national biosphere reserve around Chernobyl. Management activities in the biosphere reserve aim to recover biodiversity and ecosystem resilience and includes monitoring of ecological, medical and radiation status of area as well as educational activities. The bioreserve now represents third largest nature reserve in mainland Europe. The fauna of bioreserve has a significant variety and increased number of species. According to the results of our research, approximately almost 1,000 animal species are present within bioreserve. One of the main goals of the project is to help the government of Ukraine develop policies to reverse environmental degradation and prevent future man-made disasters. What we do enhance this rewilding effort? Well, for fishes, assistance in restoration of breeding and wintering conditions of local fish species. That is, we are preparing the baby rooms for the mama and the papa fishes. For birds, we are establishing rehabilitation center for emergency. I mean, you can consider like emergency rooms or hospitals for the birds. Arrangement of hollows, artificial nests, and rafts are the other activities that we are targeting for the birds. You can consider they are as the housing projects for birds. Feeding of large birds of prey in winter is another activity that we have already planned and we will start to initiate. Monitoring of birds of prey and owls on the territory of the reserve is another activity. Creation of a free living group of European bison is another set of activities targeting for rewilding in Chernobyl zone. Protection and management of Pralovsky horse, feeding for this purpose, establishing feeding grounds is another activity that we are doing and we will continue to do in the Chernobyl bioreserve. Protection and preservation of the lynx by doing the surveys, establishing photo traps are the other activities in this project. Let me now take you to the Balkans. North Macedonia is a European biodiversity hotspot. 2/3 of the country's plant species and also animal species like brown bears, Balkan cameos are found in this Shar mountain. A total of 51 mammals have been registered in Shar mountain. The mountain, with its forests, rivers, rocky regions, grassland, is for many species like bears, lynx, otter, bats, wild goat, are the house and the habitats. What do we do in North Macedonia? Well, with the support of the Global Environment Facility, UNEP assists the government of North Macedonia in establishing National Park in Shar Mountain, which will be one of the largest transboundary protected area in Europe, spreading across several countries in Balkans. How we look at rewilding in North Macedonia in Shar Mountain? Well, we first focus on the territory, that is the creation of the protected areas. This is the establishment of a national park is our first strategy. We will put those territories into some sort of protection. We also did the pre-work, that is identifying who is present and who is missing. We have identified what can be done to protect those present and what can be done to bring those missing back to Shar Mountain. You can do this by yourselves, of course, but the local communities should agree with the idea. They should understand that their future mainly depends on the healthy ecosystems unless everything is functioning. This is the defense of the communities, depend on the benefits they get. So we have to consider that the conservation and people work together. We can't separate the two. Therefore, we have been working closely with the community and explaining them why protection is important. A recent survey reported that more than 82% of the people in Shar Mountain are in favor of establishment of the natural park. This project, which will significantly contribute to restoration efforts of the country, is really exciting, and as UNEP, we look forward to supporting North Macedonia on the journey ahead. Ecosystem restoration is a winning investment. With every dollar spent is bringing at least $10 in return. And nature holds the key to 1/3 of the climate solution. The next 10 years are critical in combating climate change and saving 1 million species from extinction. We can't have a healthy human society, a healthy economy, or whatever we want unless nature is healthy. We need to heal our ecosystems, to heal ourselves. By being in nature, by seeing, by hearing, we will feel ourselves a part of nature and connected. So it's time for everyone to join ecosystem restoration. And thank you so much for joining me. It was a privilege and honor to present you some of our projects.